Two kings, two bullets, one silence that money still pays for. Two of the biggest names music ever made. Both shot in the street, both dead before 40. And nobody ever did a day for it. Las Vegas, September '96. A black BMW at a red light. 4 bullets through the door. 6 months later, Los Angeles. A green Chevy pulls alongside a Suburban. Same ending. Same nothing. The cops had names. The cops had cars. The cops had witnesses who suddenly forgot how to talk. 28 years of silence, bought and paid for in blood. This is the story of 2 murders the whole world watched and nobody solved. Until one old man started talking. Act 1. The Stain. A red light in Vegas. 4 bullets. A king bleeding on the strip. September 7th, 1996, Las Vegas. The fight just ended. Tyson dropped his man in under 2 minutes. Tupac Shakur walked out of the MGM Grand alive, famous, untouchable. He had 2 hours left. First came the scuffle. A man named Orlando Anderson, Crip, jumped in a casino lobby. Tupac's crew stomped him on the carpet. Caught on camera, every second of it. Then the night moved on, like nothing happened. 11:15 p.m., Flamingo Road. Tupac riding shotgun in Suge Knight's black BMW. Top down, music up. A white Cadillac rolls up on the passenger side. The window comes down. 13 rounds, maybe more. The street lit up like a struck match. 4 bullets found Tupac. Chest, hip, hand. 1 tore through his lung. He tried to climb into the back seat, to hide behind a body. There was nowhere to hide. Blood on white leather. Blood on the dashboard. Blood pooling in a $200,000 car at a red light. Suge took a fragment to the head and kept driving. Drove until the tires blew out. Witnesses everywhere. The strip was packed, hundreds of eyes, and every last one of them went blind. Tupac fought for 6 days at University Medical Center. Machines breathing for him. His mother at the bedside. September 13th, 4:03 p.m. The heart of a generation stopped. 25 years old. The police had it all. The shooter's car, the motive. A casino brawl on tape just hours before. They had everything but the one thing that mattered. Somebody to say the name out loud. And in the streets where this happened, talking was a death sentence too. The man who orchestrated the hit was sitting in that very casino lobby, bleeding on the floor Tupac's crew left him on. Act 2. The Shadows. A war of coasts, a second body, and a city that wouldn't talk. Here's how the investigation went. Nowhere fast. Las Vegas police had a shooting watched by 1,000 people on the busiest street in America, and not one usable witness. Imagine that. Suge Knight, the man sitting right next to the target, claimed he saw nothing, heard nothing, knew nothing. A bullet fragment in his skull, and the man couldn't describe the car beside him? The streets had a code. Snitches got stitches, or worse. So the silence held. But everyone knew what this really was. A war. East Coast against West. Death Row Records against Bad Boy. Tupac against the man who used to be his friend. The notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. 300 pounds of Brooklyn. The crown of the East. Tupac had accused him on records, in magazines, said Biggie knew about an earlier ambush that nearly killed him in '94. The beef sold millions. It also dug 2 graves, 6 months crawl by. The Vegas case goes cold as a morgue drawer. Then, March 9th, 1997, Los Angeles. Biggie's in town for the Soul Train Awards. People warn him, the coast isn't safe. He comes anyway. After a party at the Peterson Museum, midnight crowd spilling onto Wilshire Boulevard. His green Suburban stops at a light. A dark Chevy Impala pulls up on the right. A man in a blue suit and bow tie raises a 9mm. 4 shots. Clean. Practiced. Biggie took all 4. The last one was fatal. 24 years old. Dead at the hospital within the hour. And once again, a packed street. Once again, nobody saw a thing. 2 of the biggest stars on Earth, murdered 6 months apart. Same caliber war. 2 cities, 2 task forces, 2 mountains of nothing. The killers walked off into the crowd, and the crowd closed behind them like water. Who pulls a trigger on the most famous man alive and vanishes? Somebody who knew nobody would ever talk. Act 3. The Deviant. A casino beatdown, a nephew's pride, a confession hiding in plain sight. To understand who killed Tupac, go back to that casino floor. The man stomped on the carpet. Orlando Anderson, a South Side Compton Crip. Humiliated, beaten, on video, in front of everyone. In that world, that's not embarrassment. That's a debt. Paid in blood or paid in respect. And there was no respect left. Orlando had an uncle, a shot caller, a name that ran the South Side. Dwayne Keith Davis. The streets called him Keefy D. Keefy D was in that Cadillac. He'd later admitted himself. He said he was in the front, passed the gun into the back seat, said the shots came from behind him. And he said it proudly, like a man bragging about a fishing trip, in interviews, in a memoir, on a documentary, face to the camera, grinning. He confessed to being in the car that killed Tupac Shakur for content, for a paycheck, for clout. The killing of a generation's voice sold as a war story over a coffee table. He claimed immunity, said an old federal deal protected him, said he could say anything. For years, he was right. Orlando Anderson, the man most believed pulled the trigger, never faced charges. He died in an unrelated Compton shootout in 1998, 23 years old. The shooter, gone. The witnesses, silent. The confessor, laughing. And on the Biggie side, theories metastasized. Crooked cops, Suge Knight ordering his own artist dead for insurance money. The man in the bow tie, never found. 2 murders, so many people who knew, so few who'd say it under oath. The truth wasn't hidden, it was performed. On podcasts, in books, on the record. Everyone was talking, nobody was testifying. But a confession, repeated enough times, eventually reaches a man with a badge and a long memory. And in 2023, that man finally picked up a pen. Act 4. The Trap. 27 years cold. 1 grand jury. 1 old man's own words. July 17th, 2023. Las Vegas police serve a search warrant. A house in Henderson, Nevada, the home of Keefy D's wife. They pull out laptops, photos, a copy of his own memoir, the tell-all he wrote with his own hand. They built the case out of his own mouth. For 27 years, Keefy D had been the prosecution's dream. a confessor who wouldn't shut up. Detectives stacked every interview, every page, every grinning soundbite, side by side. A confession in stereo. A grand jury convened. They listened to a man describe, in his own voice, the night Tupac died. September 29th, 2023. Indictment. Murder with a deadly weapon. Gang enhancement. After 27 years, an arrest in the Tupac Shakur case. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, 60 years old, cuffed, walking near his home. The last man alive from that Cadillac. The self-proclaimed orchestrator, in handcuffs at last. Prosecutors called him the shot caller, the man who got the gun into the car so his nephew could avenge a beatdown on a casino floor. His defense? That he made it all up, lied for money, invented his role in history's most famous murder to sell books, confess for a fortune, then claim you were only ever lying. Pick one. He sits in a Nevada cell awaiting trial, pleading not guilty to the words he chose to publish. And Biggie? No arrest, no indictment, no bow-tie shooter in a cell. The LAPD case remains open. Open like a wound that never scarred. One murder finally cracked, the other still sealed in the dark. Two kings fell 6 months apart. It took 27 years to charge one man for one of them. And even now, even with cuffs on the loudest mouth in the streets, the questions don't stop. Who really pulled that trigger? Who got away? And who is still out there, staying quiet, because quiet always pays. Act 5. The Void. Two graves, a grieving mother, and the price of a code. Afeni Shakur buried her son in 1996, a Black Panther who survived the system only to outlive her boy. She died in 2016. The arrest came 7 years too late for her to see it. Valletta Wallace buried Biggie, spent the rest of her life demanding answers Los Angeles never gave her. She passed in early 2025. Still waiting, still owed. Two mothers, both gone before justice came, if you can even call it that.
Think about what was lost. Two artists, 24 and 25, barely men. Tupac left behind 7 albums worth of unreleased fire. Biggie died days before an album literally titled Life After Death. The cruelty writes itself. And for what? A casino brawl. A coastal grudge sold to teenagers for record sales. Men profited off the beef while it was alive. Profited off the funerals when it was over. Profited off the confessions for decades after. The whole machine ate 2 kids and called it marketing. The streets had a code. Don't talk. That code didn't protect anyone. It just let the killers grow old. Orlando Anderson, dead at 23, never charged. Keefe D, confessing for money until the day it caught him. Biggie's killer? Maybe still breathing. Maybe still silent. Maybe still smiling. 2 of the most documented murders in history, watched by the world, mourned by millions, and the truth still sits in a cell, refusing to plead to its own words. Evil didn't hide here. Evil signed autographs. Epilogue. What the silence bought. What the music kept. Here's the bitter joke. We know who. We knew for years. The names were printed, spoken, sold. The mystery was never the killers. The mystery was why a world that watched it all let it slide for a quarter century. Their music outlived the men who shot them,
outlived the silence, outlived the code. You can still hear them on the radio tonight. Two voices, frozen at 24 and 25. Forever young, forever loud, forever unfinished. One man finally stands trial. One killer still walks free. And somewhere, the streets stay quiet. Because in the end, silence was always the only thing that paid.